Ah yes, Need for Speed. My favorite franchise. Quite the schizophrenic one though. For this retrospective I'll be covering all of the PC stuff from the original to Porsche Unleashed. You'll see. I'll save the rest for later, but in the case of the original I will be touching something rather special relating to the console iterations. You'll see later. So where do we begin? Well, we begin in 1982 in Burnaby, Canada. Don Mattrick, yes, that Don Mattrick, and Jeff Sember formed Distinctive Software Incorporated, or just DSI for short. They would go on to make some ports and some sports games, but during this time in 1987 they released one of the most influential driving games in history, Test Drive. Published by Accolade, this will be important later, and released for the Amiga, Atari ST, Commodore 64, and MS-DOS all in 1987, and in 1988 came the Apple II release. Test Drive was a driving game through and through. It had one course that consisted of 5 segments. You simply race through the track while avoiding traffic and cops in one of 5 supercars like the Countach, the Esprit Turbo, Corvette C4, the 93911 Turbo, and finally the Testarossa. Yes, the game got high praise and also it made a lot of them bills, yo! The success of this game was so high that in '89 came the sequel, The Duel, Test Drive 2, which is a rather odd way of wording it, but the name itself makes sense as the new Big Boy edition is another racer to race against. The gameplay besides that part is largely the same, except now you only have 2 cars to choose from, those 2 being the Porsche 959 and the Ferrari F4. These 2 cars would be locked in an endless gang war for generations to come, even after the discontinuations in real life. But anyways, I kinda forgot to mention that there were also some expansions with more cars and tracks. Anyways, with the release of Test Drive 2, 2 programmers from DSI, Pete Gardner and Amory Wong made a port of the original Outrun for MS-DOS under the company pseudonym Unlimited Software Inc., or just USI. The porting job was quite easy as they had a lot of they used a lot of the code from Test Drive 2, and this is where the problems arose. After the release of this port, Accolade sued DSI as they argued that the code belonged to Accolade and not to DSI. Code that was primarily used to do basic game and programming functions. The stupidity of this case was too much that DSI just won the lawsuit anyways, but they lost the rights to Test Drive. After this, in 1991, EA bought DSI for $10 million and DSI was renamed to EA Canada. Also during this time, former EA CEO Trip Hawkins transitioned from EA to create the 3DO company, which started in 1993 released the 3DO. The 3DO is a rather interesting machine, how it was distributed and all that. That's all a bit too far off the scope of this video, but anyways. Hawkins' connections with EA proved to be quite useful as EA provided a lot of gear for the 3DO. And somewhere around 1993 a racing game tech demo was shown in Edge magazine called Greasing Garage, or just Road Race. It was just a graphics demo featuring proper texture map roads and 2 Ferrari 40s duking it out. No videos of it exist, at least to my knowledge. It's believed that this tech demo later evolved to EA Canada's project for the 3DO. Road and Track presents The Need for Speed, which came out in August 31st, 1994 for the 3DO, including a funny trash-talking component, and well, unlike the later ports, even the later NFS games, this really is a driving game. It's also a weird pseudo-remake of Test Drive 1 and 2, especially with having the Duel from, well, the Duel Test Drive 2, ooh, spooky, as the only input in this game, holding the data ports head to head, they're still just driving against a rather fucking stupid opponent who is shit talking you and being an Italian futurist than actually racing. You still have traffic to avoid and cops to evade. Just that, along with that, so have a shit talking cop once you get busted, but now instead of one track with 5 segments, you have 3 different tracks with 3 different segments of their own. The physics are actually nice in this game. Not only video and audio wise, this game not only video and audio wise is aged better than most mid-90s racing games and even a lot of PS1 games, but we'll touch on this in the actual review of this video. For now, I just say that the driving in the 3DO versions feel really nice. It's quite realistic for the time, but anyways, what about the actual version we're gonna talk about and the other versions of this fucking game? So 1995 was the year for this game where something happened and something was supposed to happen. What happened that year was the DOS release, which saw the game get an actual tournament, a race mode, and also actual lap racing, good old circuits, yes, and the removal of the funny man trademark, but also addition of a much clearer UI. Menu UI, I mean. Just look addition, what the fuck? That's much better. Anyways, and what was going to happen was that year was an Atari Jaguar port which never came out. But 1996 saw the release of the PS1 and Saturn versions, which were just the DOS one, but with some extra graphical features. But anyways, the physics changed a bit from 3DO to DOS/PS1/Saturn. And the frame went from sub 20 FPS on 3DO to 30 on Sega Saturn and 34 on PS1. 25 to 30 something on DOS, though I think, I don't know, I don't care. But anyways, later in 1996 came the Need for Speed Special Edition, or just SE for PCs. Came both at Windows and DOS executable. This at the time of day settings from the console and some special edition things that we will be looking at in the actual review part of this review. See you after the transition or whatever the fuck, I don't know, man. So hello and welcome to the actual review part of this review. Like I said before, the review part of this video will actually be talking about Need for Speed Special Edition, but it's not that different from the normal DOS version other than having Windows support, and that doesn't really work on modern machines. Anyways, I'm too lazy to get a virtual machine and a copy of Windows 98 SE, so I will be looking at the DOS version running on DOSBox. The actual content difference I will be touching later on in the video, so on with the show, I guess. So where do we begin? Well, naturally on the main fucking menu, of course. We have 3 things: single player, multiplayer, and exit. If this was a bad game, I would say let's review the exit part of the video game in question. But this is alright game. So we're reviewing single player and not multiplayer, because that does not fucking work on this. Well, it works, but I don't know how to set it up. I'm not ancient. I'm not a fucking Greek philosopher. I'm not gay. I don't suck cock. Sorry, not sorry. But anyways, what about that single player though, my man? So for starters, it has 4 modes. Those 4 being head-to-head, returning from the original 3DO version. You get the picture. You run from cops, you have to evade traffic, all that stuff with another racer, except he doesn't exist in video form. eyes have decalibrated. To be honest, it's kind of sad that the videos got removed in any version besides the 3DO version. They were fucking funny. They were really funny. Anyways, the cops. I forgot about the cops. They're fucking retarded. They can barely bust you. I mean, they can. And I would show you the cutscenes for this game, the ones that are still intact. But they don't work on DOSBox. They just don't. Anyways, this mode's quite fun, but only really in the proper point-to-point tracks. We'll touch on the tracks a bit later. Racing a Viper through the Alpines with cops is just fucking good. Even if the other driver is a fucking retard in a Corvette. Which is quite sad. Quite sad that he's driving the inferior car. Very sad. But anyways, what's next? We have single race, the new mode to the original DOS version and every other version after that. It's just a single race in any track of your choosing. Yeah, it's just racing. You can choose from an entire roster of players with one car or just the entire car list. Quite fucking frustrating, this fact, but anyways. This is fun, I guess. Then we have Time Trial. It's Time Trial. Time Trial. Tournament. No, Tournament. This is an alright mode. Like, unlike a lot of later racing games, this is actually quite open-ended. Like, you don't have one tournament of just predetermined events and races. You can choose in any order where to start and where to end. You just have to complete every race in this tournament. Because all of them are counted. Yeah. These races also are relegated to one car class, which is quite nice. And if you finish in first, you get a and if you finish in first, you get a bonus card, a bonus track, which we'll be touching on later. And you see, this mode gets a bit hard at times, and almost made this review by your a review made by your average modern games journal who doesn't even finish the fucking video game. It's all because of one fucking person, a AI in this game that I root star R40 to want to fucking murder. His name is Razor. This motherfucker was a real pain in the ass, and due to how heavy the car steering is in this game, it takes off fucking almost forever to turn. I mean, you can get used to it, but it's really weird, especially when you consider that this is only a problem on keyboards. Apparently using a steering wheel with this game, in this version of the game, actually fixes this fucking issue. From what I've read online, at least, but still, there's some rather weird keyboard turning compensation, but I guess at least they tried. Though, in the console versions, in all of them, the steering's fine. It's always on 100. It's an entirely different story with the original 3DO release. Like I said, it tried more to be simulation, which kind of got corrupted a bit later on with the other versions. But, like, this is one of the more realistic classic NFS games, only being surpassed by Force Unleashed and High Stakes and even Motor City Online if you count that. But anyways, that fucking name, Razor, that seems so oddly familiar. Like, wait, Razor Clarence Callahan from Need for Speed Most Wanted, also known as Razor? Could it be? I mean, like, the AI names in this game are in NFS 1, aren't random at all. They're always the same, each one. So could it be that these are the same character? Like, think about it for a moment. Razor and FS1 is my heart is basically the fucking super OP and cheap racer of the bunch. I mean, while I was struggling on Vertical Ridge, being behind this fucker in points, at this point of the game, I tried my hardest to pass him, but you really can't when he's in first, except when you start the race, when if you perfect shift and then you try to bump on the motherfucker, which bit of a pro tip, bumping into someone while trying to overtake them is much better than trying to overtake them cleanly. But anyways, once I... And then I just use this tactic and hell for dear life, but you kinda can't do these fucking boat physics. Once I try to basically ram him off the fucking road. After both of us got fucked for a bit. I did indeed rape him, but some fucking how, after going from 3rd to 8th, this motherfucker somehow manages his way back to fucking second half a lap. I tell you, this guy's fucking cursed, and you see, basic of this, because of this difficulty, you would think that this character is the same as Razor in FS 1. I mean, Razor in MV is the literal final boss of the game, albeit not that hard at all, because 2000s racing game AI. I mean, it could be true, you never really see his face, ever, though what you also somewhat see on document is the name of the character in the 3DO version was only your opponent. Could this guy be Razor? Could that guy also be the fucking same guy as Razor from Most Wanted? Do the distinctive software incorporated NFS games and the black box NFS games actually have a plot connection? Does this series of weirdly schizophrenically developed racing games, the switch lifts the moment EA feels like, have a connected plot? Is Need for Speed some kind of esoteric ancient pagan culture? I conclude that Razor is the true name of the opponent you face in Need for Speed 3DO, and that this is indeed the same Clarence Razor Callahan you see in Need for Speed Most Wanted. But hey, it's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching. Now fuck my wife. Alright, where was I? Car physics. Speaking of cars, there's actually a rather variety to choose from, actually. So in Class C, we have the Mazda RX-7, the Acura NSX, and the third fastest car in the game, when it feels like it, the Toyota Supra Twin Turbo. Yes. Then on B, we have the Porsche 911 Carrera 993, the Chevy Corvette ZR1 C4, and the Dodge Viper first gen, pre-facelift, real nigga shit. But here's a bit of a fun fact. Julius Evola, when he said ride the tiger, when he wrote like ride the tiger, he didn't actually, the metaphor for the tiger wasn't like some kind of weird esoteric bullshit. What it actually was talking about was the Dodge Viper. Many do not know this. Anyways, on Class A you have the two cover cars of the game, the Ferrari 512 TR and the Lamborghini Diablo VT. Then we have the bonus car you'll unlock after somehow getting first in the tournament and all that fucking bullshit. The Affection Warrior PTO E2, which is a jet car, not real, and its fucking car selection menu art is very funny to me. It's the in-game model for the car, but the background is of a picture taken in the quite obscure video game known as Real Life. The car's just chilling there like a little retard. What a lovable little kid it is. Anyway. Speaking of menus, I quite like these in all of the game versions, and the UI sounds just something else, man. Even if these would be reused up until high stakes, but just not! Not! I fucking not! Anyways, what do we race this shit on, man? We have all these little game modes and cars that are all fine and shit, but where do we put the rubber to the road, man, and fucking race, my man? Well, in terms of tracks, we have two types of tracks in the entire game. Point-to-point racers, which return from the 3DO version. We have three with 3 zones each, whatever. Who gets the best time in all of the zones wins. Then we have the traditional, like the pre-trad, like the very trad, you know, like trad Catholic, trad Cath, traditional Catholicism, and all that shit, like, you know, including Rusty Springs, quite a fun track, Autumn Valley, my favorite track, and finally a Vertical Ridge, which is a kind of shitty track, but also quite a good one. On fucking PC at least. And this is where it ends in the original DOS version and the console releases. Not in Special Edition. The new final track is Transtropolis. Transtropolis. Which is, you know, the new final track of the game, whatever. Like I said, I'm repeating myself anyways. And then after Autumn Valley, instead of Vertical Ridge, you now get Burnt Sienna. Okay, what's next now? ISOP, music theme, Aquim, vibes, Ad Misericordiam, Beatnik, number 2, Die Zweite Heimat, the Sonic Fox, Casium, driving is easy? Actually, I might stop here. This joke isn't funny. But anyways, all the tracks in this are just fun. And for 1994/1995/1996 standards, these are quite fucking detailed. They have this charming blend of 3D and 2D by having the actual track be 3D, but a lot of the background scenery and animations to be 2D. It's a very nice blend, and they have a lot more detail than a lot of tracks you see in mid-90s racing games. You just compare any version of it in this one to any version of, if I don't know, let's say the original Red Racer, and you'll get what I mean. Actually, that's just that's kind of the entire thing with this game in general. It holds up surprisingly well compared to its competition. Only racing game released in the same time frame as NFS 1 as good would be the original Viper, but no other racing game besides NFS can really beat this game in terms of sound design. And I'm not talking about the soundtrack. No. I mean, the soundtracks are all fantastic, being composed by the late Saki Kafkas and Jeff Van Dyke, but mostly being composed of remix songs, both composed for some demo tape. But what I'm talking about, when I mean sound design, just the fucking epic sound design of this game is the actual sound design, from the little things like the rather great UI sounds, the fact that you can hear wind rushing through your car, the clangs, machinery, etc. But also, every fucking car in this game has its own unique and quite realistic engine sounds. Every car in this game has a unique engine configuration. There was only one car in the game, it's a V8, and that's the Corvette, and so on. But also Road & Dragon, it's in the name. They also kind of, I guess, provided testing for these cars. And though, speaking of the cars again, I almost forgot about the showcase. It's quite a fine little treat to go through.
From its enormous front air intakes to the clusters of tiny taillights under a towering F40 style wing, Toyota Supra is a powerful styling statement. It also has muscle beneath its hood to match those looks. A 3-liter twin-turbo inline-6 engine makes 320 horsepower, which ties it with the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4, the most powerful Japanese production sports car made. The Supra's chassis employs no special gimmicks, just the basics for world-class handling.
In all the non-DOS version, you actually... In all the non-3DO versions, you actually have showcases for specific topics about the car, like general info specs, performance, history, and returning from the 3DO version, the videos for each car. These videos are pure fucking vehicular greatness, car porn. I love these. Fucking bring this shit back! So in conclusion, this game is alright. So what do we have next? I talked about the development for a bit, and I kind of looked at the 3DO version for a bit earlier before this. And so now it's time for the NFS 2 Memorial.
-21秒ロマンスーパー GTR デビュー。
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about these two are in this video case. This one, yeah, I was gonna showcase Nissan Presents Overdrive and GT-R, which is the Saturn iteration of this concept. It was just about Nissan cars and not just Skylines. It was the PS1 iteration of the concept, was a Skyline only retrospective up until 1997, which is when this game came out. Yeah, in February 10th, 1997, that is. Well, whatever, what's in this game though? Yeah, the synth's funky. And yeah, this is really just a reskin of the original FS1 PS1 version, but with very high-end Skyline versions up until the 133. The GTRs, yes. Also, hey look, this game has a bonus car, which is the Nissan R39. Or 390. Fuck, I can't spell. Or 390, yes. I can't fucking say anything today. And also a bonus track, which is still Las Vegas, I guess. The bonus car in this... The bonus car in this game, the Nissan R390, makes sense to include. I mean, it's really fast compared to everything else in this game, but it kind of feels weird, this being paired with some sci-fi track. But anyways, I should have mentioned the tracks first. Well, it's the same as the original DOS and PS1 release, so nothing has changed other than the names went from being in English to simple English. Instead of city, it's now City Simulation. Instead of Autumn Valley, it's now Mountain Track or whatever the fuck. You can clearly tell this is a Japanese exclusive game, but what else did they? And well, all the showcase is just one video explain the basics of whatever. The soundtrack is head to head. It's basically just no mercy, but no cops and no traffic too in any of the segmented tracks. Anyways, what is my verdict of this? It's okay. I haven't really played this, nor do I intend to. It's got a nice aesthetic, so I won't shit on it too much. Oh yeah. But there's Overdrive in DX Rally for the PS1, which is the NFS one, but with I mean, okay, I mean, there was already a cheat for this. The DA got that from the Japanese release and sold it as another game? I don't know. But here's some stolen footage. Anyways, what is my verdict on this entire fucking experience with an FS1? Well, it's quite the fucking right with the history of this game. I see this much weirdness with releases later on, and I mostly covered what I think about this earlier, so once again, this game is good, my man. What else can I say? I'll buy.